murders that I'm committing myself. He's holding the knife with the bloody thing. You got the girl who's basically like the ghost of the person that he killed.
Hearing those words now, it feels like David had been hinting at Celeste's fate all along. As mourners gather for her funeral, David finally breaks his silence, giving a speech no one saw coming. From disturbing online posts to chilling moments caught on camera, what's being revealed now is forever changing how we view this tragedy. When investigators began digging into what really happened to 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was found dismembered in David's car, they uncovered evidence so disturbing it shook the entire industry. This wasn't just some random tragedy. The deeper they looked, the clearer it became that David Anthony Burke, better known simply as David, had been living a dark double life for worse than anything his sad boy tracks could ever express. The most chilling part of it all was how David's music seemed to tell the story before it even happened. He was literally rapping about his future crimes, and everyone dismissed it as just creative expression. But when you really look back, he was documenting his actions in real time, and no one noticed until it was far too late.
On to some truly creepy developments in the mysterious case of Celeste Rivas, the teenager whose dismembered body was found in the trunk of singer David's Tesla. Back in February, David released a music video for his song One More Dance. In it, he's seen covered in blood, dragging a body across the ground. He then dumps that body in, you guessed it, the trunk of a car. In light of the circumstances, the parallel is a disturbing coincidence, raising some eyebrows.
David's February 2025 music video for One More Dance literally showed him dragging a bloody body and tossing it into a car trunk, the same way Celeste's remains were found in the front trunk of his Tesla 7 months later. He was playing both the killer and the victim in his own video, which is some seriously twisted foreshadowing. But it gets even darker. During his 2025 Withered World tour, he was actually bringing real caskets on stage and having fans write letters to the dead. He was performing mock funerals while Celeste was likely already gone. That timing is way too precise to be a coincidence. It feels like calculated, cold-blooded behavior.
People are also finding this disturbing that he tours with a casket. He brings a casket with him on tour, which artists do some creepy, weird shit like this all the time. Like, I'm Suicide Boys fans, they do weird shit, but oh man, with the context of all this is very, very, very bad.
Back in 2022, David went on record talking about a character he created called Itami, an evil alter ego who would commit murders that David, as a detective, would have to solve. He literally said, "I'd be solving murders that I'm committing myself." Hearing that now, with everything we know, it hits completely differently. That wasn't just creative storytelling. It sounds like a straight-up confession disguised as art.
Idea to kind of make this first music video introduce a character that I had been kind of ideating for a really long time. That's why you see him with the blindfold and the bloody shirt aesthetic and the bow tie. I'm really big into anime and I'm really big into manga. And I wanted to make my own manga series at one point, and I was writing a lot of poems and writing a lot of things for it. And a big part of that manga was an evil version of me named Itami, which means pain in Japanese. And he wears his blindfold, and he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego. And the story of the manga went like I was a detective, and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, and he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as a detective. I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing.
The streets went crazy when digital forensics uncovered some seriously incriminating evidence about what was happening behind the scenes. Screenshots allegedly showed David posting about having a kid on the way with what investigators believe was Celeste's account. Now people are saying that her pregnancy might have been the motive. She was carrying his child, and he couldn't let that information get out.
And in this alleged screenshot, David even claims that he and the deleted user have a kid on the way back in July of 2024, which people obviously speculate could be the very reason that she ended up losing her life.
What really set the community off was learning just how deep this whole operation went. The Hollywood Hills house where Celeste was found during one of her runaways was leased under the name of David's manager, Josh Marshall, through Intercope Records. As soon as the feds raided the place, Marshall broke the $20,000 a month lease and disappeared. That's some seriously suspicious behavior. Nobody walks away from a lease that expensive unless they have something big to hide.
So singer David is in some hot water. Previously, it was reported a dismembered body was found in the trunk of his car while he was on tour. Today, the dead body was identified as a 15-year-old who's been missing since she was 13.
The internet completely exploded when this story broke. Social media turned into a battlefield, with amateur detectives from the hood to the suburbs pulling up receipts, breaking down evidence, and running their own investigations. The hashtag Justice for Celeste was trending everywhere with over 2 million mentions. And people weren't just sharing condolences, they were demanding justice.
They're taking their time, Ashley, which is exactly what they should be doing. And there's a lot to untangle here, and it's important to remember he's presumed innocent, right? And we know, based on past history, there are juries in LA that will entertain absolutely insane defense theories.
The reaction from David's fan base showed just how divided people really were. Some fans immediately cut ties and called for boycotts, while others went as far as victim blaming, saying Celeste brought it on herself by using fake IDs. That mindset is exactly why young girls from tough backgrounds don't get the protection they need. Instead of holding the grown man accountable, people were finding ways to blame a child who was clearly being manipulated. Throughout the entire investigation, David stayed completely silent. His last social media post was on September 5, 2025, just 3 days before Celeste's body was discovered. While his legal team probably advised him to stay quiet, that silence only made everything seem more suspicious. The streets don't respect silence when a child is dead and you're the main suspect. Legal experts began breaking down why no arrest had been made yet, and it all came down to technicalities. The cause of death was still listed as deferred because Celeste's remains were so decomposed, making it difficult for prosecutors to prove exactly how she died. But everyone in the streets knew what time it was. You don't just accidentally end up dismembered in someone's trunk.
Told that the detectives went through the house. There was with luminol, thinking that if whatever happened to Celeste, if she met her demise in the house, they wanted to see if there was any evidence of blood anywhere in the home. So they were using luminol around the house. They were checking drains to see if there's any blood evidence or blood or tissue that was.
The music industry's response was fast and ruthless. Intercove shut down all promotion, major brands dropped him instantly, and collaborations were cancelled faster than you could say lawsuit. But the speed of these reactions made it seem like insiders knew something was wrong long before the public caught on. What really sent people over the edge was learning that David was still online after Celeste's body was found, casually playing video games like nothing had happened. Reports showed he was active on Fortnite even after the discovery, displaying a disturbing level of detachment that had everyone questioning his mental state. The evidence painted a picture of someone who wasn't just committing crimes, but documenting them through his music, getting industry cosigns for his twisted behavior, and keeping up a facade of innocence while a child's family was grieving. This case exposed how the entertainment industry can shield predators when money is involved and how young girls from certain backgrounds are often denied the protection they deserve. The shocking revelations were only the start of uncovering how deep this rabbit hole really went. The digital paper trail showed exactly how this predator got caught slipping. When federal agents started digging through David's online footprint, they uncovered a systematic operation that had been running for years, targeting a vulnerable girl when she was still a kid. The evidence revealed a calculated grooming process that began when Celeste was barely out of elementary school, exposing how predators operate in the digital age when they think no one is watching. The big break came on September 17, 2025, when LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division hit the Hollywood Hills mansion with a search warrant. This wasn't just a routine house search. They brought an entire squad, over 20 detectives and forensic specialists, who spent 6 to 8 hours tearing the place apart like they were hunting for Jimmy Hoffa.
I think it's her, because she has a hoodie on and glasses almost to like kind of hide her identity a little bit. Like that's what that looks like in my opinion. But it's just a clip of the stream and they talk about, at some point Jeffrey Epstein gets brought up, bro, and she says something about what's controversial about R-wording kids.
The warrant was thorough, covering everything from digital devices to biological evidence. Investigators seized an entire arsenal of electronics, computers, laptops, phones, hard drives, and even David's PlayStation 5, which he used for his Twitch streams where he allegedly first contacted Celeste. They also ran luminol tests throughout the house, checking drains and searching for blood evidence that could reveal where the murder actually happened.
Very interesting, something we found out, but she had a tattoo on her right index finger that said the letters SHHH ... And that was on her right index finger. Yes, he had the same one, at least as of last September.
The digital evidence they recovered was damning as hell. Screenshots from Discord allegedly showed David talking to someone named Celeste going back to 2022 when she was just 12 years old and he was 17. This wasn't some random encounter. This was the beginning of a long-term grooming operation that followed the classic Predator playbook. The pattern was textbook. Older guy with some clout slides into a young girl's DMs, makes her feel special and mature, then slowly escalates the relationship while isolating her from her support system. David used his growing fame and musical talent as bait, making Celeste feel like she was part of something exclusive while he was really just setting her up.
We were saying that's him covering his tracks because he has a girl with him that is underage next to him, but there's more context to the clip. Here's more context to that clip.
Media trained you.
Media trained you is what he just said, because she just said something about Jeffrey Epstein.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
They mute the mic.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
One of the most incriminating pieces of evidence was that leaked song Celeste demo unfin that had been floating around since December 2023. The track had some seriously inappropriate lyrics about someone named Celeste. In one of his leaked songs, David sings about professing his love to someone named Celeste. The verses include, "Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed." The timing of this track was wild suspicious. He recorded this when Celeste was only 13, basically documenting his obsession with a child through his music. The lyrics talked about physical intimacy and possession in ways that would be illegal as hell if they were about a minor, which they clearly were. But the really sick part was how sophisticated the cover-up operation was. TMZ reported that Celeste had multiple fake IDs that made her look like a 19-year-old college student, allowing her to enter age-restricted venues and travel with David without raising suspicion. This wasn't just a teenage girl getting a fake ID to sneak into parties. This was a planned deception designed to make an illegal relationship appear normal. The scheme ran deep, with Celeste having driver's licenses, student IDs, and everything needed to move through adult spaces without anyone questioning why a grown man was with someone who looked so young. David's crew reportedly believed she was legal because her documentation supported the story. Even more troubling was evidence suggesting David was paying people to keep quiet about what was really happening. Photos surfaced showing him in Lake Elsinore near Celeste's house handing out cash to local kids. While we can't prove exactly what those payments were for, the timing and location made it seem like he was buying silence about Celeste's age and whereabouts. Another photo that's been circulating shows him allegedly paying off people to stay quiet about the situation, though there's still no solid proof or confirmation. It could just be him meeting a fan. Investigators built a timeline that showed how the relationship escalated over the years. It started in early 2022, when Celeste was 11 or 12 and David was 16 or 17, through Twitch and Discord where he was building his online following. By 2023, he was writing obsessive songs about her, and by September 2024 they were getting matching tattoos. Celeste's tattoo on her right index finger said SHH, and David had the same one as of last September. These matching tattoos were significant because Celeste was only 14 when she got hers, and under California law, minors need parental consent for tattoos. The fact that she got one without her family knowing suggested a level of secrecy and commitment that predators often use to make their victims feel special and emotionally tied to them. The investigation revealed that Celeste's runaway pattern wasn't random at all. It was directly connected to her relationship with David. Her first disappearance in February 2024 led police straight to the Hollywood Hills property where David was staying. Instead of recognizing this as a clear red flag for grooming, authorities just brought her home and wrote it off as another runaway case. Neighbors from that Hollywood Hills property gave crucial testimony about what they saw. with several describing David and Celeste spending time together regularly, acting like a couple, and assuming she was 18 or 19 based on how she carried herself. They recalled seeing them doing normal couple activities, loading groceries, holding hands, and looking comfortable around each other, which made the relationship appear normal and showed how convincing the deception really was. One of the most concerning pieces of evidence was a February 2024 Twitch stream that was quickly deleted but saved by viewers. In the clip, a female voice believed to be Celeste could be heard making concerning comments about inappropriate topics, and David immediately told his moderators to delete everything. Many people believe this was him trying to cover his tracks because an underage girl was with him on stream. The clip gave more context when viewers heard him say, "Media trained you," after she mentioned Jeffrey Epstein, a topic that's controversial when kids are involved. And then they muted the mic before quickly ending the stream with him saying, "Bye guys. Delete everything. Everything goes." The level of control and secrecy in that moment highlighted how sophisticated the operation really was and showed that David wasn't just some random predator he had a calculated system for targeting vulnerable young people through his sad boy image. David's entire music and online persona were built to attract kids who felt lonely and misunderstood, creating a pipeline of vulnerable fans looking for connection and validation. But nothing could prepare anyone for what came next. On September 8, 2025, what began as a normal Monday morning at a Hollywood tow yard turned into one of the most shocking discoveries the music industry and the internet had ever seen. Workers at Hollywood Tow were just doing their job when they came across something that exposed a tragedy that had been building for more than a year. The car involved was a black 2023 Tesla Model X with Texas plates, registered to none other than 20-year-old R&B artist David Anthony Burke, better known as David, who had skyrocketed to fame when his track Romantic Homicide went viral on TikTok and crossed 1 billion streams on Spotify. He had gone from making beats in his Houston bedroom to selling out shows across the country. But inside the front trunk where an engine would be in a regular car, workers made a horrifying discovery: the severely decomposed and dismembered remains of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Her body was wrapped in plastic, and investigators later confirmed that her remains had been cut apart in what they said was a deliberate attempt to hide evidence. Neighbors even remembered smelling something strange in the area for weeks, describing it as a constant, rotting odor they assumed was coming from rats or trash. But the timing of the discovery made everything even darker. Celeste had just turned 15 the day before, on September 7, 2025. While some speculated about the timing, forensic analysis revealed she had likely been dead for much longer, probably during the sweltering California summer. With the heat inside the sealed Tesla accelerating decomposition, investigators were able to confirm her identity through dental records and a small red SH tattoo on her right index finger, a tattoo that matched one David had in black ink on his own finger. That matching body art became one of the most crucial pieces linking Celeste directly to him. When news broke,